This is Jack Whitby from JCAD Pictures, and today I am answering the third question: what kind of media institutes might distribute your media product, and why? And so, the first people to distribute our film will be our own company, JCAD Pictures. As we are the creators of the film, and we'll be able to distribute it with the right marketing, and as we know, all of the film's characteristics and elements and conventions, from characters to storylines to setting, etc. And we'll be able to talk about that in detail within the marketing, products, and when the film comes out for publicity and interviews with the film. And so we need to associate our company with the film, so that if our film is a success, our company will get the recognition for making that film, allowing us to in the future make more films, which will in turn bring in more profit to our company and allow us to keep making films as time goes on. Though distributing our film just from our company will be very hard, as we are a very small company. So because we are a small production company, we will need the help of distributing our films to other countries outside the United Kingdom, and even so we'll find it hard to distribute because no one knows who our production company is. So they will not want to go, they will want to go and see a bigger production team's film rather than our small independent one. Therefore, we should find a big conglomerate like the BFI or Disney to help distribute our film, as this will help us get our film into a larger audience. And because they trust the companies like Disney and Universal, as they are big conglomerates and they've bought a lot of their favourite films, the viewers will want to see our film because they trust these big conglomerates and we are associated with them. In turn, this will bring in a greater audience to our film, meaning our company's name will get bigger. However, most of these big conglomerates, such as Disney, have many companies underneath their names in the vertical and horizontal integration of the companies. So Disney owns Pixar, which allows Pixar to distribute its films through the Disney Corporation. So Pixar don't have to worry about distributing their films. So this means that we may be shooting too high trying to partner up with a big conglomerate like Disney or Universal, as these companies are big and might need a lot of convincing to support and distribute our film. And so because these big companies already own, Disney in particular owns Pixar, LucasArts, Marvel, Muppets, they already have many companies which are making a lot of money, so those companies don't need to distribute their films because Disney Corporation does that all for them. So why is Disney going to want to pick our small production team that's made one film when they already have these billion-dollar investments in Pixar especially, which are bringing in much more money than our small independent film will make? So shooting for a big conglomerate to help us like Disney is going to be very challenging and probably won't have much success. Therefore, we might have better luck with a smaller independent company to distribute our films, and more in particular, companies who have had a history on supporting small UK films. We could try and distribute from companies such as Film 4 or BBC Films to help support our film and get it out to a larger audience. Because these companies have smaller production teams such as us at JCAD Pictures, we may have more of a chance convincing them to help distribute our film. However, these distribute companies still aren't massive, so we would need to invest in more distribution companies, smaller ones, independent ones, in order to get our film to different countries and for our audience to grow and make more people see the film. Therefore, we could try French distribution companies such as Pathé, I think it's pronounced, which would help get our film distributed in other European countries, and that company has also helped with the film Pride. The film Pride had lots of different distribution companies such as Bethesda and some other smaller companies in order to distribute their films, since they can't get a big conglomerate. So we may have to follow in the footsteps of these smaller independent films. Therefore, because we have used lots of different independent distribution companies, our film will be distributed to many different places in the world. However, this means we will have lots of people to pay back. So whereas Pixar and Marvel, they don't need to worry about distribution because Disney does that all for them, whereas we will have to give back to all these companies that have helped get our film out there. So we will have to look at smaller independent films such as This Is England or Pride to see how they got their distribution deals with some of these smaller independent companies, which will in turn allow us to distribute our films to more than just United Kingdom, to people in France and other places in Europe, which will again grow our audience. We could just cut out all this hassle though and distribute our film online. This cuts out other distributors, as we could just send the film directly to the cinema, which will be far easier and save a lot of time wasting. This is also much cheaper. This is also a much cheaper option for us, which is good because we are a small independent team, and we can just upload the film straight onto the internet for people to see. And this could also be a good thing, because some people would argue that this would cut out piracy, because it is already on the internet, so people see the film and they can buy it, so people might not feel the need to illegally upload it because the film is actually there on the internet ready for them to watch, so they don't have to hunt around on Pirate Bay, they can just type in the film and there it is. Though, like everything in this world, it does have negatives, because the online world is very competitive, which means people might not even be able to find our film, as it will be overshadowed by big companies and conglomerates such like Disney and Universal. Because they are giant conglomerates, people would want to go and see their films rather than us. Will want to see their films rather than us because they trust their films. Their films have given them a lot of joy over the years, and they've just made a name for themselves. Whereas our company hasn't had a chance to do that yet. So without a huge budget for marketing, people would not even might not even be able to find our films. Meaning, we could lose more money than we actually gain. And of course people will still try to watch the film illegally, and if they have the option on the internet to rather buy the film or watch it for free, the majority of people, no matter if they care or not, they're just going to want to watch it for free, because if it's something free, people are generally just going to go for that. And as I mentioned briefly, because there are so many other films out there from big conglomerates such as Disney and Universal, Fox, there is going to be so many films on the market. An example of this would be Star Wars, especially for, even if it's on the internet or in the cinema, Star Wars was being taken up by 4 screens, it was on advertisements everywhere. So this huge conglomerate Disney, who vertical integration to LucasArts, vertical integration to Star Wars, is taking over the kind of film industry at the moment, because it's such a big film that it's being showed on 4 screens, which means if people go to the cinema, 4 of those screens are going to be taken up by one film, which is from one conglomerate. Not to mention that Disney had also brought out The Good Dinosaur last year, which is still in cinemas now, and that's going to be taken up at least for another screen, maybe even 2. So it allows our smaller production teams films maybe not even to be shown in that cinema, because these big conglomerates have already taken over, and because people trust these big conglomerates, as I said, they're going to feel more enticed to watch these films, and it heads on to the same on the internet. They're going to see Star Wars, The Good Dinosaur, and other films by these big conglomerates, and they will have to scroll for ages before they find a film Sprint by a small production team by JCAD Pictures. So it does bring in the problem that because we don't have much profit for marketing our film, and this is our first ever film as a production team, we are going to be overshadowed by these massive conglomerates in the film industry. And so finally, this may count as a distribution, it might not so, but we could also try to distribute and advertise our film through social media, such as Facebook and Twitter. This could work, as the majority of our target audience is age range from 12 to 22, so this is a big stretch, and so these are kind of teenagers and young adults, which is a target audience we're aiming for, which is a generation which use social media the most, so they would be likely to see the film advertised because they're always on social media scrolling through, and because they see it on some of their favourite social media sites, and maybe if you posted it on Twitter and it was retweeted or favorited by maybe someone they're following, it allows the process to keep on. They see it on social media, and that will actually encourage them to go and see the film, especially if maybe someone famous that they look up to shares it, or if one of their friends shares it. They are going to be more likely to want to go and see the film because they've seen it on something that they love in social media. And another benefit to this option is that it'll also be a much cheaper option because it doesn't cost anything to post on Facebook or Twitter, but would still get them, but it would not get the massive publicity our film needs to succeed and make a good profit. So even though it's free to upload onto Facebook, people will share it with their friends, and this is great because they're going to share it with their friends will share it with their friends, and so on and so forth down the line. The film, say if we shared the trailer on the internet, the film is going to get around from all these different people sharing and liking the film. However, it's still not going to get the same marketing and distribution as you would if you were with Disney, because Disney are so powerful they can just have to conquer your TV screens with it and conquer your social media. So again, it brings in that problem of, if you distribute it over social media, you're still going to have that problem where these bigger corporations and conglomerates are going to be overshadowing your tiny little film. Because if people see a trailer for Star Wars, people are going to go mad. There is religions and all sorts for Star Wars. People are going to share that. And because that's blogging up the news feeds on these social media apps, our film will be right at the bottom. And this may mean that our film never gets to be seen by people. However, these concludes the end of this video. There are many different ways we could choose to distribute our film, and in order to get our film out to a wider target audience, to our target audience range. And I feel that using each of these, from social media to maybe distributing online, distributing it to smaller independent companies, or even just marketing the idea to a big conglomerate, could also all in turn get us more publicity and overall be able to help us distribute the film to cinemas around the world, and hopefully having a good reception from our target audience, saying the film is good, and critics saying the film is good, so that the film will be shared around a lot more and distributed to other places because people like the film so much.